All right. Well, thanks for joining, everyone. It's 11 o'clock, so we might kick off. So we're just holding these webinars during our Citrus Watch trapping season because we've got a lot of trappers who are involved in our Asian citrus psyllid trapping who have their own big home gardens that they're quite passionate about, and some of our trappers work at community gardens as well. So in a lot of the cities that we're sending traps to, you're also having problems with citrus gall wasp. And this has been some feedback to me over the past year. People really want to hear more about some of the pests and diseases that you're dealing with in your own gardens and struggling with in terms of keeping your citrus healthy. So we've organised this special webinar today, and we'll try and have another webinar for you probably towards the end of the trapping season, sometime in mid to late October, on a different topic. So this is just going to be a pretty short and sharp webinar over the next half hour or so. And I'm really pleased to invite Dr Jianhua Mo, entomologist at New South Wales DPI, here today to present to us on the topic. And Jianhua has done extensive research on citrus gall wasp over the last few years. So I hope you all enjoy and learn something. And we'll have a few minutes for question time at the end of the presentation. And if you would like to put questions in the chat during the presentation, I can read them out at the end, or you can turn on your microphone or ask a question at the end of the presentation. So I'm going to hand over to Jianhua to tell us a little bit about citrus gall wasp. Thanks, Jianhua.
Yes, I'm happy to just talk about the gall wasp. It's the one that I've been working for quite a number of years. So I think for most of the work that I've done on this wasp is in relation to management in commercial orchard. But I have got a lot of inquiries from residents in towns everywhere in the citrus growing region, including in South Australia and then Victoria and New South Wales. So I thought might just talk about what I know and what I found out, and what you can do as a home gardeners to manage the wasp. Thank you. So, okay, so what is it? What is causing the galls? So the first thing you see in your trees would be sort of enlarged sections on the stem, what we call galls. So these are caused by small wasp. So the wasp is native to Australia, and previously it's been mainly in Queensland and northern central New South Wales coast. It was first detected in the southwest New South Wales in early 2000s. Now it's widespread in southern Australia and also present in Perth suburbs. Thank you. Thank you, Jess. Next. So what does it do? So the female of the wasps, they lay eggs under the bark of young citrus shoots in the spring. And then eggs hatch into little larvae. They start feeding, where you have a lot of larvae feeding under the bark. The area of the shoots start to swell. So eventually you form, as the season progresses, you see characteristic galls, some as long as a meter. All varieties can be attacked. So heavily infested trees would decline and lose productivity. I've seen places where you hardly get any fruit when the infestation is heavy. You see the inset of the slide. You see the little wasp. That's the adult wasp, and they construct, each of them construct a small cell inside the galls. So there are lots of the cells. Eventually, one of the wasps will come out from each cell. Thank you. Next. So the life cycle It come out in the spring from the galls, and then, as I said, lay eggs in there, and then the whole life cycle is completed inside the gall, so you can't see anything until next spring. So that chart shows you what likely time you're going to see them coming out, and they complete inside the galls, complete different stages of development, and the galls become bigger and bigger until the wasp coming out. Next, please. The gall wasp, because they are inside the galls, there's not many predators. There's not any predators that would eat the wasps. So what happens is there's a parasitic wasps. They are similar sized as the gall wasp, as you can see, but they're brightly colored, honey-colored wasps of similar size. So what this parasitic wasp does was it would lay eggs inside the eggs of the gall wasp. So by next season, instead of the gall wasp coming out, you'll see those honey-colored parasitic wasps coming out. In our region, the parasitic wasps are present, but their population is not high. It's insufficient to control the gall wasp. But in Queensland, you can get as high as 90% parasitism. That means that 90% of the wasp that are coming out is not the gall wasp, but the parasitic wasps. Next. So I've developed an app which can be accessed online, and the address of the app is shown in blue. So if you click on the link or type in oh, that's good. See, and you click the predict the states on the button. There's a predict states here. You're getting data from the Weather Bureau. So that will tell you what time it's going to come out in Yanko. So according to the past year's temperature data, at this stage, if it's the average year, we're going to see the peak of the wasp emergence in early November, just start of November. But this year is pretty warm, so it's going to come out earlier. So my prediction is it's going to come out late October. So if you want to put another location, Jess, can you select Mildura? You just change the location, any weather stations that is closest to you, or will update. So slightly different, but Mildura and Yanko is slightly similar. But if you click another place, like in Queensland, it's going to be Genda, yeah. So the peak is every year is October, early October. So it's quite earlier. Anyway, that's the app. You can access it, anybody can access it just by copy the link, put in your browser, and you'll get it. It's easy to use. Thank you, Jess. Can we get back to the slides? Thank you. Next slide, please. So how to monitor? To some, for us entomologists, we consider the gall wasp is the easiest to monitor because you can see the galls. And you know where there are galls, there are gall wasps. But when the gall wasp first arrived in your tree, the galls would not be as conspicuous. They would be quite small. So in that case, what you need to do is looking for shoots the young spring shoots, they're growing out at right angle to the previous year, to previous year's growth. That's where, and chase to the end, you'll see a gall. Next slide, please. How to manage it? I mean, as I said to you, my works on the wasp is in relation to commercial orchards. But for home gardeners, I think for newly infected trees, remove any galls found, bag the galls and dispose the bag. So if you remove the galls, cut the galls, quite a long time before the wasp coming out, the gall would desiccate. But if you cut the galls close to their emergence, you have to destroy the galls. Even if you cut off that, the wasp is still going to come out. Another thing, I've been always consistently telling home gardeners is to apply a sticky paste of glue. What we have a product called Tango Fruit, but you should be able to get a similar product from Bunnings. You just apply that sticky paste over the galls, and none of the wasps will get to come out alive and lay and infest new shoots. So I think that if you don't want to remove the galls, especially if the galls is formed right at the main stem and your trees are small, you don't want to cut off the galls, that's what you can do. Another thing is if you want biological control, and if you don't have the parasitic wasp, you can release parasitic wasp. That is done by collecting galls from places that is known to have the parasitic very high, quite high levels of the parasitism of the parasitoids. You can talk to your neighbors or talk to a pest consultant. They should be able to tell you where you can get the where the parasitism is high. If you can't find anything, collect the galls from if you can know someone in Queensland, get some galls from there before the wasps come out, and then place the galls anywhere near your tree. So eventually you'll get the parasitic wasp coming out. Finally, the gall wasps are the adults that can fly. So if you're controlling your tree and your neighbor is not controlling it, you're not going to get good results, because the wasp can fly over from your neighbor, from the trees in your neighbors, and they come out infest your tree. So it has to be an area-wide management. Next, please. I think that's it. Thank you. Any questions? Happy to answer.
Thanks for that, Jianhua. If there are any questions, please call out or place a question in the chat. I've had questions from a lot of people where they've been advised to put out sticky traps for controlling the wasp. Can you talk a bit about that and whether you've seen if that's effective or not?
The sticky traps, if you put it there, when the wasps are flying around, some of them would get stuck on the sticky trap, on the sticky cards. But the thing with the biology of this wasp is, as soon as the wasp coming out, they immediately mate and lay eggs. So by the time you got the wasp get stuck in your sticky trap, some of the wasps may already have laid eggs, and that's the source of next year's infestation.
Okay, so
you reduce that by proportion, but you're not going to prevent them from laying eggs on next seasons.
So one of the take homes is try to either get rid of the galls, or if not, put something over the galls like a glue to stop the emergence in the first place.
There's also a commercial product. There are two commercial products. I'm not sure I should recommend to home gardeners, but they do work. Check with check with a pest control specialist or chemical resellers, and they'll tell you which one is available for home gardens. I know for commercial orchards which are effective. One of them is systemic insecticide, where you apply it through the drip and get absorbed by the roots in the soil, and then the chemical would get to where the gall wasps are, the juvenile wasp larvae, and then kill the larvae. There's also another product we called Kalen, which can, if you apply that product, it's like a clay particles, so dust. You cover the whole new shoots with those that product, and the wasp would not lay eggs on those sprayed shoots. But important thing is you need to check whether you are allowed to use in your as home gardeners.
Do you know if there's any sort of clay available for residential use, Jianhua? Would a normal
There's only
clay
one
work?
product that's surround, so I don't know whether they can, whether it's I haven't checked whether home gardeners can use it.
Are there any questions for Jianhua about management of citrus gall wasp? If anyone has one, you just have to take yourself off mute first. No? Well, perhaps if anyone has any questions that occur to them, if you would like to send them through to me over my email, and I can send that through to Jianhua and maybe put answers to the questions in the next trapping update. So if anyone wants to find out a little bit more, the Shiny Apps Adult Emergence tool is in the chat box. I've just put the link in there. So if you want to try and estimate when your adults will emerge, that's an excellent tool, and I highly recommend you have a look and learn how to use that, so you can start figuring out when the adults might be flying around looking for some stems to lay their eggs into. So just short and sharp webinar today, guys, but thanks a lot for coming along, and hopefully you'll learn a little bit more about how to manage citrus gall wasp. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jess. Jess, can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
Not related to the wasp. I'm actually logged in by the phone to the meeting. And in terms of the recording, would you be able to send it to the people who registered on the email, if we can look at it then?
Yes, I'll actually send a recording out in the next trapping update.
Okay.
And I can, if there might be some people who registered who aren't on that email list, I think that's what you're saying. So I can certainly send it out to the registrants as well. Yeah. Easy done.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thanks for the presentation. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thanks all. Have a great day.